Joining me now is New York Democratic Congressman Ritchie Torres, who sits on the House Financial Services Committee. Big picture, what do you tell your constituents about confidence in the U.S., about what they should do?
Look, there's a crisis of confidence. An economy is as much about psychology as it is about economics. Consumers who lose confidence no longer consume. Investors who lose confidence no longer invest. And Donald Trump is setting up the U.S. economy for a downturn. I feel like our greatest enemy is not China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Our greatest enemy is ourselves. It's the deepening dysfunction of our politics. It's the erratic and chaotic presidency of Donald Trump, which has become a risk to the global economy. He's eroding confidence in the safety of U.S. treasuries as the world's reserve currency, and it's doing an enormous amount of damage. When
the president talks about bringing manufacturing back to places where that have lost it, do you buy that argument that he's making, that this is going to bring manufacturing back?
Well, keep in mind that half of all foreign inputs in the United States serve as inputs that support American manufacturing. And so if you tax those inputs, as Donald Trump is doing, you're not strengthening American manufacturing, you're weakening it. And you cannot tariff your way to a manufacturing renaissance. I recognize that we are dangerously dependent on China for active pharmaceutical ingredients, critical minerals, rare earth elements, clean energy technologies. What we need is industrial policy aimed at eradicating those strategic dependencies. We need legislation like the CHIPS Act, which seeks to establish an advanced semiconductor industry here in the United States. Donald Trump opposes that legislation while pretending to support American manufacturing.
The idea, do you think investors in the U.S. around the world, should they have been better prepared for this? Even those who support tariffs make the argument that there are ways to have instituted this that could at least have given markets a little bit more warning, a little more sense of what was to come.
It's impossible to prepare for the unpredictable. A tariff is essentially a tax. And imagine if the President of the United States had the power to set individual tax rates and corporate tax rates at whatever level he wants, whenever he wants, for whatever reason he wants. The uncertainty that would unleash would be impossible to overstate. No family or business can plan for the future if the president is as unstable as an Etch-a-Sketch.
They're saying that all these countries are coming to negotiate now. There's a 90-day freeze on the tariffs he had imposed, although there's this 10% across the board, and obviously the others in China and Canada and Mexico. Do you believe that they can make trade deals with all these countries in the next, I think it's now 88 days? Given, if you look at the record of how long it's taken to make trade deals with a lot of countries, it can take months or years.
There's no reason to think that this is, and I find it notable the administration refuses to release the list of 75 countries. We're imposing a 145% tariff on China. China can easily circumvent those tariffs by rerouting goods through Vietnam, Thailand, and Mexico. And so the end result is going to be an uneven playing field in which we're going to pay a 125% tariff while China's escaping the high tariffs.
Do you really, realistically, is there any legislation that would have enough Republican support to go anywhere to do anything about this?
The Republican Party is worse than a rubber stamp, because at least a rubber stamp leaves an impression. There is no appetite on the part of the Republicans to hold Donald Trump accountable. I feel like we in Congress have gone too far in passing too many laws that cede too much power to the executive. No president should have the authority to radically restructure the global economy without an act of Congress. That's not democracy, that's autocracy.
Congressman Torres, I appreciate your time.
Of course,
Thanks
absolutely.
very much.